I do respect the backwards jersey so that we can see it's Danny Dimes.
That's right.
That's an elite move.
So, this is a callback. It's a callback to whenever we first did this. Who would have thought that I was going to be wearing this fucking jersey with relevance?
3 years later.
Wearing it
3 years
proudly,
later.
loud and proud with the Giants gear. You know, like it has been 3 years. I think every single one of our teams is in a better position than they were when did the first season. Would you guys agree?
Oh God, it's not even arguable for me.
I could sense the hesitation from AJ. So you're not convinced you're in a better spot than 2021, whatever it was.
Absolutely not.
So that's pre-Deshaun. You're
Are we
saying
live,
that,
by the way? Is this all going? Or
yeah, we're live. We're in. Welcome back over the line.
Yeah.
2 years late. We've this episode is just a little bit delayed. Only 2 years delayed. So we figured we'd catch you guys up. So as you're saying, you are less confident in your squad now that you've paid $200 million for a marquee quarterback.
Marquee?
Well, he was in 2019. Your guys' roster is stacked from head to toe.
For the Browns, it's stacked. For every other team, it's average.
You think so? I was reading, you know the article guys are always right, and I was reading an article that said that you guys have a ceiling of 13-4 and a floor of 4-13, which I think is probably the most accurate take on the Browns right now. And it all depends on the quarterback position, in my opinion.
Right. Just put DTR in week 2.
Yeah, I think I'm all in on the DTR hype train.
Yeah, me too. I'm more excited about that than I've ever been about Deshaun.
Who is the number 2?
DTR.
DTR is the number 2 on the roster?
Yeah, we went and got, what's his name? PJ Washington.
Actually, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
You guys literally signed PJ Washington?
Yeah, so he's number 3.
Good, yeah. PJ Washington, the basketball player.
Yeah, PJ Washington.
Yeah, from the Hornets, yeah.
Yeah, the Hornets. Right. No, what's his name?
PJ Walker. You talking about the XFL dude?
Yeah, I don't know.
So wait, is this is your, like, you know how there's the new rule where there's the emergency third quarterback if necessary? Is that what it is, or is he on your active roster?
Ask me a question.
Because I don't even really understand because now the Patriots are only going with one quarterback because you can dress a quarterback that's not on the 52-man roster each week. Is that how that works?
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they're dressed and on the sideline, but they're not part of the 52. Is that right, Chris?
And I think that's what they're doing with PJ Walker. He's on the practice squad, but he can be the emergency QB.
I actually like that a lot. He fits the scheme that Cleveland has going right now.
Yeah, just start Kellen Mond.
You know what? I'm not opposed to that either. I think it would only help my squad. I think if you don't start DTR, then things look pretty good in Pittsburgh.
There's just so much unknown with Deshaun. Like,
there's a lot of unknown.
Is he still fondling women? Probably.
It's unknown.
Does he care about football enough? He's never been on a good team. He's been on one good team, and they gave up a 25-point lead in the playoffs.
And it was years ago. 4 years ago.
Right. The year that he was really
in the NFL.
True.
Well, that's true. You put him on Clemson roster now.
But he's a long time removed from that. He's a long time removed from that. He might forget. He might forget what Clemson even was like.
I've heard that playing quarterback is not quite like riding a bike. I believe it's slightly harder.
I think so.
And you can forget how to play quarterback. And if last year was any indication, it seemed like he at least partially forgot what his job was back there.
He doesn't look the same to me. He doesn't look fluid like last year, and then in the small sample size of the preseason, he doesn't look fluid to me. DTR looks way more comfortable, and he's never played a real NFL game.
And even the flashes of the old Deshaun, they don't really look like the old Deshaun. It looks like this idea that we have of the old Deshaun.
Right, and it's all a little tainted when you have, 21 charges against you or whatever.
That's true. So, you got the roster aside from Deshaun. So we'll put him aside. Let's say that he is the Deshaun of old. if this isn't like a deep playoff run, is Stefanski in trouble?
Yes, and it won't be, because if he's good, Nick Chubb will tear his ACL. Myles Garrett will tear a pec.
That will happen.
Playing D&D.
Yes, playing D&D. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets real.
Something will happen. We'll miss. We can't. We'll miss 6 game-winning field goals. Something will happen to keep us out of the playoffs.
Who's your kicker right now? Is it still Cade York or whatever his name is?
Fuck no, Dustin Hopkins.
I literally don't even know who that is.
It's a great signing. Oh, that's the old Chargers guy.
Chargers.
Oh,
yeah, he's good.
Okay.
Washington guy too. That's what you do. You just sign the veteran kicker off goddamn wire.
Yep.
And stop drafting kickers.
Right. Yes, exactly. So the Browns' biggest offseason move was signing a reputable kicker, is what Chris is saying.
Well, Zadarius Smith is pretty good.
Although I think sneaky best play that the Browns made in the offseason was the signing of Elijah Moore.
Pretty big.
I think Elijah Moore was sneaky the best signing.
I hope we can get him the ball.
Yeah, and I know Chris agrees. He froze because when he agrees, he freezes up. That's a natural response for him.
I was gonna say I apologize. I keep losing you guys.
No, don't apologize. That's how I know you agree with me. If you agree, say nothing. Elijah Moore, big signing. So you have the potential to have an explosive offense. So, every podcast that covers the NFL now, they have to give their prediction for not only their team, but for the division and onwards. Where do you see you guys fitting in the AFC North as far as the final standings go?
Oh, we'll win the AFC North.
Right.
Because all those teams blow, and I hate all of them. They're all terribly coached, terrible organizations. Probably the worst division in football. We should have a cakewalk. It's going to be a lot like the Lions in the NFC North. Because all the other teams blow, and they blow too. And I'm not saying we're good. It's just that those other teams blow.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, so many unknowns with the defense, so much unknown with Joe Burrow.
Right. Is he the guy? Is he the guy?
Is he the guy to carry them to the playoffs? No, I mean his injury history though is starting to get a little concerning. If you're a Bengals fan, if you're me, I mean, if I was a Bengals fan, I would be slightly concerned. Their offensive line is always terrible. I know they retooled it last year. The Ravens, same thing with their quarterback, Lamar. And then I don't even know who their quarterback is for the Steelers.
Right,
so.
Yeah, naturally.
I couldn't name one Steeler. Who's the cancer guy? Who's the guy with the cancer?
James Conner. Yeah, James Conner, right.
Yeah, but he has cancer, and he had cancer.
I don't know if you know this, but he actually beat cancer.
Yeah, he sure did. Do they still have Sean Sweezen?
Yes. We have Jeff Reed, the kicker who... Didn't he, punch a girl at a bar, blacked out drunk or something like that? Or am I combining multiple stories?
Slash. You guys have Slash?
Yes, we have Slash. And speaking of Slash and going both ways, my opinion on Kenny Pickett has kind of gone the other way as opposed to how it was, when we were first doing the show in, 2021. I think I came on the show and I was gloom and doom about Kenny Pickett. I think I called him Kenny Tiny Hands Pickett. I've said a lot of disparaging things about my quarterback. And I want to retract all of those statements publicly here. I apologize, Kenny. I'm a big fan, and I believe that you can lead us to the promised land. I'm 1,000%, not even as a bit. I am all the way on the Kenny Pickett hype train, and I think that it's largely due to the fact that I think George Pickens has such a high ceiling. And I think this year is the year where he does have a breakout season. Jokes aside, I think George Pickens has the ability to be one of those, elite guys. I don't think Deontay Johnson is going to be our number one option. I think at the end of the year, you're going to see that Pickens has established himself as the wide receiver one in the locker room. So I'm excited to see what they can do. I went through our schedule earlier today so I could be prepared for this. I think, just spitballing here, and I went pretty conservative on this. With our defense, the way that I know that our defense can play, once again, never had a losing season under Tomlin, one of the best coaches in the league. You touched on that earlier. I'm calling 11-6, and I'm saying that with no bit, no joke. Second in the division, Cincinnati wins the division. We finish second at 11-6. Baltimore right behind us. I'm sorry, I got Cleveland in the basement of the division because I don't trust Deshaun right now. And saying all of that, I also think that week 1 we're going to shock the world and we're going to beat the Niners. I believe there's something about this team, the energy this team has. Maybe it's going 3-0 in the preseason, and now I'm feeding into preseason hype. I'm feeling the vibes from the boys.
Imagine only playing 3 preseason games.
Couldn't be me.
Wouldn't be.
If I was in the NFL, I would play another one.
The spread? What is the spread on that 49ers Steelers game?
I was just gonna.
I'm curious because it's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing.
Because I hear you say shock. I'm almost.
Yeah, I don't think that's a shock.
It's home.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Steelers a home dog under Tomlin week 1 would be a little. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they're favored there.
No, the 49ers are favored by 2.5. So 49ers are minus 2.5.
Close.
Yeah.
So it's a pick almost.
Yeah, I mean that's close. I could see them. I could easily see them winning.
I think we win that game.
Honestly.
The thing that terrifies me about Kenny Pickett is that he might be the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life, and he went 7-5 last year as a starter.
Yeah, that is kind of a shame. I won't lie.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It's the Danny Dimes conundrum.
That's that's not kind of. They're similar boat, yeah, a little bit.
And now, much like you, I'm fully on board.
All of a sudden, he has a winning record. It's like, what are you doing?
Right. It's
this guy sucks so bad, but he wins.
Why do you keep winning? I just want to get rid of you.
It's really, I think, most of my confidence comes in the way that we finish the season.
$million guaranteed in.
Yeah, right.
That's a different story. I don't know if Pickett's staring down the barrel of a $160 million contract, but this year will tell a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, they got hot. They played good defense. They won every game by like 3 points.
Right.
So,
well,
their margin of win.
I think the most. I actually think Pickett will be. I think he'll be okay.
Mm.
I think the more,
right.
More.
Right. So what he said was he thinks Pickett is going to have an MVP type season.
And I watch.
That's what he said there. For those of you who couldn't, your internet cut out. What he was saying is Pickett is.
I'm just losing you guys. Right.
Well, I surmised what you were saying is that Pickett's probably going to be breakout player of the year.
Yeah, MVP.
That's what you were saying.
Where did you lose me? Because I was saying I think he'll be
at the beginning.
I think he'll be decent. I think Najee is the more interesting Steelers player for me going into the year.
Meaning that more interesting.
What's Najee Harris going to be?
Yeah, well, I think that's a position battle.
Great. I mean, offense is solid. Good run game.
A lot of
Jaylen Warren.
True. Yeah, a lot of people in Pittsburgh are reporting that Jaylen Warren is on Najee's heels as far as carries go. It very well could see like a 60-40 split.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't surprise me.
Well, we have McFarland as well. Like, we have a couple serves. Like, Pittsburgh always has a few backs that they rotate in and out. And I think Najee is going to slowly kind of creep into the Jerome Bettis type role because I think Warren's more explosive, McFarland's more explosive. They just have bigger playability. Najee will get you the yards. He'll fall forward. He's the type of guy that we love to have on the team. I just don't know if he's a franchise type guy.
Are you calling him? Am I hearing you correctly when I hear you just say verbatim, he is the Pittsburgh Steelers Ezekiel Elliott?
Damn.
Is that what you just called him?
If that means
and Jalen is your Tony Pollard.
I was gonna say if that means that Jaylen Warren is our Tony Pollard, I'm on board. I will take that.
It's a bad thing necessarily. It's a bad thing if you're Jerry Jones and you do give you immediately give him $100 million and then let him walk.
It's a bad thing if you're a running back in 2023
with Harris.
Yeah, because you said franchise.
It's just all bad.
There's only 2 teams. Well, maybe 3. There might be 3 teams that actually have franchise running backs anymore. I mean,
true.
Most of the league. We were talking about this, Chris. It's plug and
that is week to week at this point.
That's right. That is also true. At any given moment.
Because they are one injury away from no longer being the franchise guy, and I'm just being like, eh.
Well, you bring up a good point that I actually wanted to pick your guys' brain about, because I picked Kenneth Walker in the 5th round of our draft. The running backs got slim in the fantasy draft. Kenneth Walker was the best available. It was him or Aaron Jones. And really, I think they're both in a very similar situation. There's talk in Green Bay that A.J. Dillon's going to get a ton of carries this year. And now Seattle, they draft Charbonnet, or however the fuck you say his last name. They draft him in the 2nd round. You don't spend a 2nd-round pick on a running back to not have him get snaps. So now I'm a little bit concerned that Kenneth Walker's workload is going to be cutting, by 25% at least.
Yeah, but also Kenneth Walker, Ken Walker the suit. Is,
yes.
He's only 1 year removed from being that high of a pick himself. So I think, honestly, the smart thing in the NFL anymore is you can't have too many of those young guys anyways. And so I don't know if I could easily see them splitting, but I also anymore, a team drafting a running back any sort of way is just kind of you at this point, can you have too many?
True.
On a cheap deal.
It almost means
on
nothing,
a cheap deal. They let
exactly.
Rashad Penny walk. Rashad Penny's on the Eagles now, so they didn't have anyone else. And it's do we sign a veteran guy, or do we just get a cheap rookie and he can fill that Rashad Penny role? Because
you let him walk when he's due his first big deal, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It almost seems more financial.
After 4 years, so it's even
True.
quicker.
True. Yeah. It seems to be less of a strategic play and more of a financial, we can draft this guy, and now basically Kenneth Walker knows that you're not going to get a big contract from us. When your time's up, your time's up. You take the deal we fucking give to you, or we ship you off, and then Charbonnet is our back, or we'll draft another guy in the 2nd round because they're making running backs every fucking day.
And it is terrible because Kenneth Walker's production, he could be Barry Sanders for the next 3 years, Saquon did last year. Had an unbelievable year, and they've proven with the market, it doesn't matter how good you are. The team is cocky enough to believe that it's a system thing. They can just plug someone in and have the same exact production. So that fucking sucks for a young running back. They're never going to get paid. Like you said, it's a terrible time to be a running back. Granted, I would rather be a running back in the NFL than me.
Yeah, I think I would probably, gun to my head, I would probably change lives with Kenneth Walker, but it would be a tough decision.
I'd take the CTE and the death at 50.
Yeah, knowing that Charbonnet's on my heels, I could live with that.
Yeah, Michigan guy. Chris
isn't sure. Chris is actually, I'm doing pretty well.
I'm not sure I'm going. No, I'm just thinking in the running back market these days, you already had Ken Walker didn't even make it through his first year healthy. So I'm that.
True.
It can go downhill fast. I don't know if that's the guy's life I want, because that seems like he's. It seems like he's almost he could be done. And I just lost you guys again. You guys, when this happens, can you guys? Hear me?
No, but what's interesting is I listened to an interview with Dalvin Cook today as well, and he said they asked him a question. They said, if your son wanted to be a running back, would you allow him to do so? And Dalvin Cook said, without a doubt, there was no way he would ever let his son be a running back. One, he would prefer that his son played basketball over football, but if he had to choose a position for his son to play, running back would be the last position that he would get him involved in the modern day.
It's got to be somewhat cyclical, though, right? It'll come back at some point. I know it's past maybe now, but it all goes back to an average, so it'll get more balanced eventually. The market's not going to stay like this on running backs forever, I don't think.
No. Well, and the guys who are the top guys, they're getting paid.
Yeah.
The top guys get the contracts.
Right.
I mean, there are outliers. There are guys that you could consider to be a top 10 back who are struggling to get paid. But those guys who you want to keep around, they're getting contracts. It may not be receiver contracts, but shit, it's a good contract.
Who are we considering?
Am I back, by the way?
Yes, you are.
Are you seeing me, hearing me? I don't know what's going on over here.
You're back, much like your New York Football Giants.
Ooh.
Oh, I wouldn't say that yet, Jesus.
Wow, I thought we were going to get positive energy.
It's positive, but is back, how relative is back? Because
competitive.
They'll be competitive. I can go with that. Back for me is 2 Super Bowls in my
Right.
childhood.
Yeah.
You know? So are we,
Yeah, yeah,
are we
yeah.
Super Bowl contenders back? Yeah, in the NFC actually maybe.
We have a
Really?
similar standard. I get that.
It doesn't take much in the NFC right now though to be a contender, and that's like really kind of the truth of it. Like Minnesota is probably on paper your second best NFC team. Probably Eagles and Vikings, and Giants beat the Vikings in the playoffs last year.
I'd go Niners, but I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think the only thing with the Niners for me is like I don't know, and it's Brock Purdy was great, but
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm all in on Brock Purdy. Yeah. He just could have had a right place, right time,
Right.
caught fire.
Yeah, there are questions that haven't been answered.
Could be amazing, but
So
like
you're telling me that
he
you
was
don't
a
think the
7th round pick.
You're telling me you don't think the Washington Commanders are the most talented team in the NFC?
Dude,
He makes a point. Sam Howell.
Yeah, that team, that owner.
That owner. Oh, and that head coach.
That owner, though.
Dude, did you guys catch that interview of him just being absolutely plastered with
No,
Troy
but I
Aikman
already love
and,
it.
Oh, it was wild. What game was that? It was one of the preseason games. They played in. They were like one of those early preseason games, and Troy Aikman and Joe Buck had him in the booth, and he shows up just.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Just out of his mind.
Just
Trying to,
shit-cocked.
grab
Like,
Joe
handshake.
Buck's hand.
Tried
Just
to
like,
do the handshake,
oh,
yeah.
it was great. Honestly, it was great.
Oh, that was
He's
the
just like, I'm a
handshake
Philly-
video.
Yeah.
Joe Buck set him up on that. Joe Buck set him up. He fished him.
He did.
He dead fished him.
He was so. Troy Aikman was on the side just holding it in.
Yeah, he was trying not to die laughing.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the NFC, and I'm looking at the Giants, and I'm seeing them as being one of the more talented teams in the NFC.
No, the problem, their biggest problem, if I'm being honest, their biggest problem is playing the Eagles twice.
I was gonna say, I think your division is your biggest problem.
That's what sucks. Like if the Giants were in the NFC West, I'd be like, they're a playoff team.
You don't think the Cowboys are any good?
Cowboys are terrible.
I think they have an elite defense.
I think that their quarterback is going to hinder them so much. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Trey Lance?
Honestly, I think the Giants win Sunday night. I think they beat the Cowboys week 1, but I think that game, and I hate to be like, oh, I don't want to have a take before week 1, but I really think that game is going to set a tone for those two teams and be like,
oh, I agree.
Here's what happens the rest of the year. Like,
okay.
The winter trampoline.
If the Cowboys come out and like all of a sudden Dak is just like the Dak that came onto the scene again, new offensive coordinator, they're throwing the ball more, giving it to Pollard more because they got rid of Zeke finally, and they don't have to give it to the $20 million running back just because.
Right.
Like all of a sudden it's like, oh, the offense is like free again. It's like, yeah, okay, that kind of scares me a bit, but defense is always their defense is good. I don't know, man. I look at the Giants' schedule. It's fucking tough. It's not a.
I don't know anything about Giants defense.
Giants defense is I like what Wink Martindale does. He's been a blast to watch. I think I was looking at like a bunch of like the signings and stuff, and like as I was reading and watching preseason, it's cool because they're really they're in that spot of like they're fun to watch. Last year it was a lot of plug and fill guys, like veterans, like practice squad guys getting chances, and those guys were just like electric in the system. Now they've like made some signings. They got some draft picks. That defensive line should be solid. But it's like, did they make the signings in the offseason that are like, if these guys come in and they're not, they're a step above those practice squad guys, that defense will be fun to watch and like good. If they're back to like, we're plug and playing all the time, they're still gonna be fun as shit to watch because of all the blitzes.
Right.
I don't know if they're gonna be anything like, oh, we can shut down the Eagles' offense kind of thing, because that's unfortunately that's my gauge. Is
true.
We shut down the Eagles' offense?
Well, it kind of has to be.
Like,
it kind of has to be.
That's the biggest hurdle right now for them, and it's like, you saw it in the playoffs. No, that game was over by halftime. Like, they got fucking waxed. Like
they were one of many teams who couldn't stop them.
Yeah, and I think that was going in. I think Giants fans felt that, knew that was probably coming, but like seeing it happen was like a big slap in the face, because it was the third time that it was like, saw it happen twice. Playoffs are different. No, they're not. Like it's the same shit.
Team like that only gets stronger.
I do have 2 sleeper teams in the NFC though. 2 teams that can make
like it.
Let's see. Should we go because we have to be like every other sports podcast in the world if we want to get into the algorithm. So we have to go division and name a division winner. So we have to say who's going to win each division. This is the clips that are going viral right now. So if you want to, you got sleeper teams. Are you talking division winners?
Well, they're in the same division.
Okay, because we could start. What division are you looking at?
You could also do division winner, and then is there another team in there that's playoff team?
Yeah, we'll pick. We'll do. Yeah, we'll do playoff picks. We'll do division winners, and then we'll do 2 wild cards.
Man, I can't even say. I don't know, because this division, I think initially everybody was looking at this division as being a laughing stock, but kind
the
of
South. So the NFC South.
No, the NFC North.
Oh, I think there's some competitiveness in there, but I like where you're going with this. Continue.
I think that there was a lot of question marks with the Packers and Jordan Love, and I think that he, unfortunately for everybody except for Packers fans, is going to be a stud. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
I think the Lions roster is kind of stacked as long as their coach isn't a dumbass, and I like Dan Campbell. I just don't know about his game management, and I don't know about Goff's longevity at a quarterback. He could be a flash in the pan. I think the Bears are interesting because their offense could be very exciting. They got DJ Moore. They have obviously Justin Fields.
Yeah, they got Khalil Herbert. They have some guys.
Yep, and then the Vikings.
DJ Moore is a good signing.
It's a great signing.
Yep.
It's a horrible take on the pod, but just good signing. You know.
Yeah, that's one that.
Anywhere at all, but
well, it's something that like 2 months from now, it's like DJ Moore for some reason just completely fizzles out, and you're like, that was a bad take. Everybody thought DJ Moore was gonna be.
I don't remember.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. So, if you had to pick one, who do you say wins that division? The obvious answer is Minnesota, right?
I don't know if it's that obvious. I honestly thought in the middle of the summer the Lions would run away with that division. Something told me they were so close last year. They were so close.
To add to your point, Minnesota won, 8 or 9 games by like 2 or 3 points?
Yeah.
It was the defense. The defense was historically bad. They were I'm pretty sure they had a minus point differential as a playoff team.
That's incredible.
If not, they were close.
That's incredible.
Close.
That is incredible.
And you figure Kirk Cousins gets a year older, he slows down a little more. I get that Justin Jefferson's really good. Dalvin Cook's gone. They have a good running back stable.
Yeah.
That's another offensive line that sometimes is up and down. I don't even know who plays tight end for him. So
who?
Oh, it's Hawkinson. So that
Hawkinson. They've got a very good.
Bitching all year about not getting paid enough.
But he just got paid.
Yeah, but he wants to get paid more already. He
said
he should be the highest paid tight end.
Didn't his contract make him the highest paid tight end?
For 2 weeks, right?
Oh, did somebody get a contract after? Was Waller's contract bigger than that?
Was Waller's bigger?
Waller's, on a per year basis, Hawkinson, I believe, is like $100,000 more per year.
Okay.
He basically got a Waller deal.
He just did that so that he could.
He got more guarantees than Waller. He got more guarantees than Waller. But the yearly is like within. I think it was within 100,000.
Okay, so they're in the same
really
range.
Really quick, to hammer this point home on the Vikings, their record last year 13-4, points for 424, points against 427. So they were a 13-4 team with a minus.
That's fucked. That is actually
really
fucked.
It's hilarious to look at.
That's maybe one of the most mind-blowing stats.
But that's not sustainable. That right there tells me that's not sustainable. You're not going to do that 2 years in a row. There's no way. And they didn't get any better on defense. They lost pieces.
Yeah.
I think.
So the Packers, similar. So they were points for 370, points against 371. So both -3 and -1. They're both similar point differentials. The Packers were 8 and 9. So the Packers had almost the same point differential and were 8 and 9. Vikings were 3 and 4. Like that, you win those close games, that matters. But 427 is a shit ton of points against too.
They got the ball to bounce their way a couple of times when they really needed it. Not a couple times,
more than
a handful of times.
In the NFC South, no team in the NFC South let up more points than the Vikings. They were all under 4.
Wow. That's actually that's a fucking wild thought to think about all the teams in the NFC South and how historically bad they've been this past decade.
The division winner was 8-9.
Yeah.
The division winner last year was 8-9, and they still didn't give up as many points as the 13-4 Vikings.
That's brutal. All right, so NFC North, who's your winner, AJ?
You gotta kind of go with. At this point, I think it's still, and it's been this way for 10 years, but the league is so quarterback driven that you got to go with who you think the best quarterback in the division is.
Mm-hmm. I like where you're going. Let me hear it.
Oh, man. And it's going to be terrifying to say this because there's no reason I should think this, but I think it's Jordan Love. I think he's the best quarterback in that division.
What the fuck?
Dude, it's the whole aura of
playing. He's trolling.
They're just going to go back to back to back. You saw what happened. He's
literally Aaron
Rodgers. He's Aaron Rodgers.
He's right? Aaron Rodgers. What?
Right?
You know what worries me about Jordan Love, and I say worries as in like I worry that he is going to be good because it's just that's how it's going.
Yeah.
You didn't hear and it's not like Aaron Rodgers necessarily would come out and say a damn thing, but you haven't heard a damn thing from him about Jordan Love. So I kind of had this feeling that he quietly knows this dude was learning from him pretty decent, and he walked away from that Packers organization like, they might actually be in good hands. And like, I don't know why. It's just like, that's a feeling I get the way he didn't say, I've never heard a damn word about this guy.
It's true.
Still,
that's an interesting point.
The fact that I don't know if he's good or bad makes me like, yeah, he's probably good. Or else we just would be hearing all of this shit in camp. And like Packers fans would probably be like, I don't feel like they're worried, which worries me.
Yeah, true. True.
I don't know. That's where I'm not worried. I don't know. I'm worried, man.
My only counterpoint would be that a guy like Jordan Love, you would assume, right, that he would need some pieces around him to help him get going. He's throwing to fucking Romeo Doubs. Who the fuck is that? I mean, I know he's showed flashes of being like a guy, and I'm partially trolling when I say who the fuck is that, but there is a certain element of like, there's not, aside from in the running back room, which it now is up for debate, but aside from that, like, who's he throwing the ball to?
I'll push.
I like Christian Watson.
I think Christian Watson is amazing. Like that dude actually like legit.
He's not as good as Jalen Hyatt.
We'll get there.
I have that in my notes. I put in my notes, I was right about Jalen Hyatt. And the only reason I put that is from the one clip of him burning Sauce Gardner. Go ahead.
There's that Jaden Reed guy they drafted in the second round, which is also a funny draft pick that they never did that for Aaron Rodgers, but here comes Jaden Reed. That kid is supposedly looking really good, but Dobbs and Watson are both second-year guys. Reed is supposed to look good, could take over that. So I think Dobbs is kind of hurt right now. They're saying Reed may slot immediately into that like second role just by default. Like their three top wide receivers are really young, and like that quarterback in his first year like that's sketchy.
Right. To be fair, they're unproven. I'm not saying they're not skilled. They're just unproven.
Maybe it's a couple years too early. I just think that there's an aura about them. Like Chris said, it's scary that their fans aren't nervous at all.
I'm not hearing a lot of like doom and gloom. I will say too, I'll push back on the AJ Dillon thing just a little bit, and this is just because Aaron Jones, even though I think he's 30 now, he's definitely up there for running back. They've said AJ Dillon is going to eat away at carries to Aaron Jones for honestly it might have been 5 seasons now, and I just haven't seen it yet. Where I'm like, I think every year that comes around, they're like AJ Dillon's kind of impressing. All of a sudden, it's just like but Aaron Jones is just kind of that dude, and I think. Maybe just because Aaron Jones is getting older, maybe this is finally the year. But I'm like, until I see it, I'm out on AJ Dillon. Like, I bought into it like 3 years ago, and now I'm like, I'm out until I see it. I don't know. I just feel like I hear it.
That's
so
fair.
Much.
Yeah, this is just from a source of mine inside Green Bay, so I don't know.
That is true.
Blame the source.
Yeah, well, I mean, source fucking sucks.
This is just from my source. All right, so we got a Packers winning the division. Chris, let's hear your prediction.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings. I can't pick against Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson, Jordan Addison. I think is gonna be an absolute freak.
I think Madison's a beast too.
I think Madison, I'm interested to see because like that dude is anytime he's got in there, he's been a beast with a heavy workload in the game. I wonder over a season. That's my only thing. It's like, why not though? Kind of like Pollard. Why not?
Yeah.
He's been
every
time he's been in there. So the defense scares me. I honestly I don't know enough if they did anything to that defense. So even knowing that though, even if they didn't fix the defense, it's very hard for me to look at that division with those guys. That and Kirk Cousins, like, dude, he's so serviceable for that offense.
Yeah, I agree.
He's the best quarterback in that division, but he can get. We've already seen him.
It depends on the day, right?
Get the ball to Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Get the ball to him. Doesn't matter. And then Justin Jefferson does the rest. So I'll go with them.
AJ, yeah, you make a great point. Say that again.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't put him on Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. Sunday night, and Monday,
yeah,
or Thursday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Completely fair. So we've got a Packers pick, we've got a Vikings pick, and now we're getting a Detroit Lions pick. I'm riding my Lions. We're getting the dub against Kansas City tomorrow. And when I say dub, I don't mean we're going to win the game. They're just going to cover my bet. So I just need them to go up by 7 at any point during the game. If any viewers at home have DraftKings, nice little promo going on there. That's my can lose parlay. Definitely can lose, but it won't. I see us going down, Lions, going down and scoring on the first drive, cashing my bet, and then I'll throw the rest of it on the Chiefs.
Love that. Right, that spread comes right around down to minus 3.
Yeah. No, I will 1,000% put it all on the Chiefs once that hits. So, all right.
Love that.
Travis Kelce being gone doesn't make you nervous at all.
Well, we haven't gotten to the point where my first bet hit yet, so I'm not yet rooting for the Chiefs. So right now I'm happy. Once it switches and then I'm a Chiefs fan after the first quarter, then I'll be like, where's my Kelce? But I think that Noah Gray is serviceable. I mean, Mahomes is just going to fucking do what he does.
Nothing worries me about that offense.
He's just going to do what he does.
They could have probably won that Super Bowl if Chad Henne had to play it. So
yeah, there's a thing.
Something about going, whatever happens. Eric Bieniemy's finally gone, though.
I mean, this is true.
He's finally gone.
This is actually an interesting year. We'll find out, was he the guy, the mastermind behind the plays? Was it really all him? Or does Andy Reid deserve a lot of the credit that he gets? Which I think he does, obviously.
I'm definitely not at the like Bill Belichick, Tom Brady argument where it's like, is it the coaches or the players? It's obviously Patrick Mahomes, obviously.
Right.
But Eric Bieniemy, obviously, also had a very big say in what they're doing. And it was very obvious that was a big loss.
All right, so we covered the NFC North. Let's move on down to the NFC South. Some are calling the sneaky best division in the NFC. My sources are calling it that. Chris, why don't you start us off with the NFC South? What are you looking at?
This is funny. I have a future on this one already because I loved it enough, and I really I'm pretty confident in it. And I don't see it any other way. I don't understand how Derek Carr, talking about quarterbacks, doesn't win that division. And I think like Baker Mayfield maybe comes in, but you've got Bryce Young and a bad Panthers team. I don't care how good Bryce Young is. It's so hard to come in as a rookie with that shit of a team.
I agree. Panthers are out
wide
for
receivers,
me.
His best wide receiver is going to be 17,000-year-old Adam Thielen. It's probably, what's his name? DJ Shark when he's healthy, but like it's a bad team.
That's tough when that's
Falcons. I'm all in on Bijan Robinson. I think because the volume is going to be there, they have nobody else to really give the ball to.
Right.
Drake London and Kyle Pitts are good. There is nothing in me, and obviously we're all Ohio guys. We watched enough Cincinnati and heard enough about Ritter, even through college. I don't see it. I don't know how that gets there as an NFL quarterback, so they're out for me. And then Buccaneers, I'm not going to give Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield.
Shake and Bake's got the start.
Derek Carr. I know. So I don't know how I look at it like Derek Carr goes to a team that's good. They signed Jamal Williams for the stopgap before Alvin Kamara gets there. When he gets back, they've now got Kamara, Jamal Williams, which is a great tandem.
Yeah,
really.
They've got Chris Olave.
Sneaky best tandem.
They've got a great defense. They've got a good defense.
But is it bounty gate? Can we bring back
True.
Yeah.
Greg Williams, John
but
Payton, run it back.
That is the
I agree.
future already placed. I've got them. It was plus money, I think it's down. I think I got it at plus. It wasn't anything great. It was like plus 130. I think it's down now at about even. But I saw plus money on the Saints in that division, and I was like, that for me was. I didn't even think twice about it.
Is the other team that it's about? Is the other team that it's about even with the Falcons?
No, I think the next closest team was the Buccaneers.
Got to be the Buccaneers. Got to be the Buccaneers. They have weapons.
They do. They have weapons. Yeah.
No, it is. It's definitely not the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are actually last. That's funny.
Oh.
It is the Falcons. So right now,
my sources told me that
105, Falcons are plus 200, and I think that's a Bijan Robinson line.
That's a Bijan line. Look, they're not going to win the division.
I don't know how. Like, and they're going to be playing from behind, right? So, how are you going to run the ball 30 times a game when you're down 2 scores? Like, I don't know. I don't see it. I mean, the division is bad enough that the Falcons could beat up on the Panthers and Buccaneers, though. And then now they're all of a sudden stealing a game away from the Saints from winning the division at 9-8. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Sure. I guess that's where you. I'm not talking myself into it, but it's like, yeah, I guess. Sure.
Weren't the Falcons leading that division like 10 weeks in last year?
Oh, probably.
They were at one point leading the division for like at least 3 or 4 weeks in a row.
Right.
Which is just tells you how bad that fucking division is. So, okay. We've got a Saints on the board. I'll go second here. And, you know, I don't want to be a contrarian. Even though it's naturally what I do best. I'm going to fight the urge, and I'm going to take the smart route here because, you know, my reputation is on the line here. This show goes out to potentially millions of people. Potentially. I mean, when you say potentially millions of people, that's actually true. Okay, so no lies were told. Potentially a million people are watching this. So to those potential million who are watching, I agree with Chris. I'm going Saints are going to win this division. Reluctantly, I say that because I want to shake and bake. I want to say that Baker gets it done. But let's be real. It's not even going to be close. They are going to be in the basement of the division.
It is a little interesting, though, isn't it? Isn't their team a little more interesting now than it was 6 months ago?
No, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
Their defense was terrible last year.
But I do think Atlanta's the better team.
Buccaneers defense. I mean, it was middling at best.
Yeah. That's why I think that I think New Orleans wins the division fairly easily, and I think Atlanta is competitive for the second spot. I don't trust Ritter either. To be clear.
I just don't. There's no part of me that trusts Ritter yet. I don't know. Sorry to the guy, but I don't.
How many weeks until Derek Carr tears his ACL though? How many weeks? And then Ian Book's your backup. No,
that's your guy.
Desmond Ritter, I think. What did he play? 4 games last year, 5 games, 1 passing touchdown. I know he had 1 passing touchdown, so he played 4 or 5 games, 1 passing touchdown. And
yikes.
Drake London is a freak wide receiver.
True.
Kyle Pitts is freak athlete. Who knows if he's ever going to actually be what we. But it's not like he doesn't have weapons. He has. And now he has Bijan Robinson, so he's just same kind of thing. He's just got to be serviceable. Like if he can get the ball to those guys, he's got weapons. But I just don't.
I agree. So AJ, are we going to make it 3 for 3, or what are you looking at?
I mean, it's stupid to pick against the Saints. Like Chris said, they have I don't know how they do it, but it seems like they've had an elite defense for 10 years in a row now.
Yeah.
It's whether they can have a serviceable quarterback for a full season.
Can they score enough points? Which I think in that division they do just enough to win the division comfortably. I don't think that they're going to be stressing towards the end. I think they'll win by a couple games. So let's move on to the NFC West. This is a weird division because, like you said earlier, you touched on the Brock Purdy thing. It's like, do we trust the small sample size? Potentially. I put you guys both on the spot in the last 2 divisions, so I guess I'll start us off here. I think that it's going to be a tight race, and I'm actually taking Seattle to win the division. I believe in Geno Smith. I know that's not a popular take, but I do believe. One, he was my fantasy quarterback last year, and he carried me. I didn't draft him, picked him up in like week 7, week 8, and he's one of the most accurate passers, according to last season. Any other season, you can just wipe that away. But as far as last season goes, his accuracy was unmatched. He had a great touchdown to interception ratio, takes care of the ball. I think they have a good defense. They run the ball efficiently. I think they do just enough to win that division.
I want to pick them. But if there's any team that has a system where it doesn't matter who your quarterback is, it's the Niners. Right?
That's fair. It's fair.
I mean, they played 3 different guys last year, right? And it didn't seem to matter. Brock Purdy obviously looked pretty good, but the sample size isn't big enough, and I'm sure it was a pretty vanilla, bland offense that he had to run. So can you do that again this year with great defense and great running game and Christian McCaffrey getting hurt in week 3? There's a lot, but I think it won't matter. Just put Debo back there again, and it'll be fine, right?
You make a great point. So you're going Niners.
I got to go Niners.
All right, Chris?
Go Niners. I think their defense is slightly better than Seattle's, and I think that Pete Carroll's kind of a crackhead.
True.
I will go.
Sources say.
I'm gonna go Niners as well, but I'm gonna disagree with AJ. The defense isn't just slightly better. That defense is historically fucked up good. Like,
yeah, they are really good.
They are really good, and they just signed Boza to the bigger deal than Donald got or whatever, and that. So he's locked up. He's playing Sunday. Like,
he's motivated.
I do agree though with the offense thing. It's like Purdy could be average, and they've got so many damn weapons. Debo, Brandon Ayuk is good. If George Kittle doesn't tear his ACL in week 2, he's around. McCaffrey did stay healthy all last year. Knock on wood for him, but he did.
They've got other backs too, don't they?
I do. I want to pick Seattle.
I do. I do too.
I can't. It's.
I went out on a limb, I will say.
Yeah. No other team. I'm looking at points against, just going on that defense. No other team last year in the NFC let up less than 300 points besides the 49ers. So that
is impressive.
Over 100 points less than each team in their division last year. I mean, they just defense is just good. Then if the offense is good enough to score points, there you go. You can win a game 14-10, and fans don't give a shit. You know?
I think the Niners are the safe bet. Yeah.
I'm going a lot of safe bets myself.
No, I think that's probably, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to go with the 49ers here. But there's something in my gut that I like what Seattle did last year, and I think that they can build on that this year. I don't know if Purdy can lead them from start to finish to where they see themselves. But I could be proven wrong, halfway through the season. It could be this is clear that he is the guy that he showed in the last 5-6 games of the season, whatever it may be. So I think they have a ton of potential. I like what Seattle's doing, and they're always competitive, as we know. They're always going to be a strong team. They're well coached, even though Pete Carroll is a crackhead. I need Kenneth Walker to do well, so I'm really banking on that. So we got 2 Niners, 1 Seattle there. So let's finish up the NFC with the NFC Beast. Now this is an interesting division this year. It really, there's a few ways this could go, and I don't want to make you wait. I'm holding you back right now, so let's take over for us, Chris. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, the Eagles are going to win that division. Anyway. They are, but I think it's going to be more competitive than people may think. I think every other team upgraded except for the Commanders. I think that's going to be a rough year for them. I think their defense is going to be historically bad, opposite of what we were just talking about the 49ers. They're just not very good.
Yeah.
The Giants, I want to believe, and I will believe that they stay competitive. That Dayball looks like he's got this team so motivated. Cowboys, they upgraded. I think getting rid of Zeke was the best thing they could have done. I think once they unlock Pollard, that's going to be, and just use him. I think that's the best
I do
want
to point out, nobody's concerned about if Pollard's going to be the same guy. He snapped his fucking leg. No one's concerned about that.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not.
I'm not saying I am, but I haven't
No, I
heard any
know,
national media talking about it. None of the sports podcasts. Everyone's talking like Tony Pollard's a sure thing to have 350 touches and 1,500 yards.
I think honestly, bone is better than any ligament he could have torn. So I think that's why I'm like I'd rather break the leg than come back from any like knee ligaments or whatever.
Right.
Eagles. I mean, it's just the defense is. We talk all about the offense. That defense is just Georgia's defense at this point.
Yeah.
Which was historically the best college defense I think I've ever seen over the last.
It's a great strategy.
They have 6. I think they have 6 Georgia players on that defense.
Yeah, it's a hell of a strategy.
Howie Roseman just goes into the draft. He's like, well, you guys watched Georgia last year?
Yeah. Who did Georgia have?
Like, it's just been like, all right.
Like, I'll take 3 of those.
So, yeah, the Giants will win the division. Eagles will sneak into a wild card spot. The Cowboys.
I was like, did I hear that right?
Finish below 500,
okay.
And then the Commanders are going to finish below 500 but above the Cowboys. So I got it: Giants, Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys.
So we're locking that in.
Lock that in, yeah.
All right, locked it in. You guys heard it here first. It was actually the third thing you heard, but apparently the Giants are going to win the division. So we got one locked in at Eagles. Just kidding, Giants. AJ, where do you fall on the NFC Beast?
I'm gonna make Chris so happy because I'm gonna point out all this shit that makes it so the Eagles don't look as attractive as everybody thinks they are.
They're fans.
One of their star players on offense will regress. There is no way the quarterback and Devontae Smith can look as good as they did last year. That is their ceiling. They will not look better. They will not stay healthy. There's no way. The running back room, to me, is a question mark. You went and got a guy who's hurt perennially every year, every single year. Then it's just a carousel after that. I'm not sold with them. I think Nick Sirianni is a fucking idiot, too, so that doesn't help.
He cried before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, don't cry.
Yeah.
Please don't cry and be a head coach.
Before the game, cried.
Before the game.
Yeah. Yep. Gonna lose.
Yep, really gonna lose. And when I think of the Giants in the Coughlin era,
which I think about often.
Which I do think about often.
Yeah, when I think about that.
But yeah, it's the bottom of this wall. Coughlin era.
So what happens when you think about the Coughlin era?
I think about defense, a power running game, and then play action off of that. And I think that's what the team will look like this year. And that's been a formula for the Giants in the past. So I think that carries them to it's not the Beast. It's always going to be the NFC least. Stop giving them primetime games. I hate all those teams except for the Giants.
The primetimes do bother me.
Stop it.
Yeah. Well, and you just get it Sunday Night Football week 1, baby.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay. You don't want prime time? Well, we're gonna throw right now.
The Giants. I don't want to watch the fucking.
I'm excited for you.
Anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not. I fucking don't want the late game.
Yeah, true.
This would be great.
Yeah, true.
These 8:30 starts for Sunday Night Football. I'm trying to.
That is far too late. Let's be real. Yeah,
I feel like I'm watching more commercials than I am football anymore. So I want my Giants on when the witching hour is coming on. So I've got Giants on one screen. When they go to commercial, I've still got 7 other games going on to keep my attention span busy.
We live that life.
Giants, I'm over here just like.
Yeah. That's every Sunday for
I'm
us.
missing plays because I'm on my phone at that point. I'm not even bored. I'm just like, forget. Like it's just too like. Oh, we're back from commercial again. Yeah. My bad.
You do constantly have to watch sleepy football. I mean, you're either at like the 4 p.m. nap time after the 1 o'clock games, like all the excitement dies down, and it's like, oh yeah, the Giants are on. Or you're playing it Sunday night and you're laying there, and by halftime you're down 17. You're like, do I have to watch the rest of this game? So I can see where you're. I know you do. You do.
Yeah.
You're kind of forced. So AJ, is the Giants your final pick?
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt on mine.
Well, I will keep it short and sweet. I got Philly winning that division. I'm sorry. I think Philly wins that division. I think everything you said sounded great. And then on top of that, I think that they easily win the division. I know that the Giants are going to be competitive, and I do see them sliding into the number 2 spot, and I think they're going to get a wild card because the NFC sucks. I do think they sneak into the playoffs. But I think Philadelphia wins that division. I don't think too much. I know they have had some moving parts. They lost Miles Sanders. A few things have changed, but I think the core guys are still there, and their skills are what they are. Devontae Smith he gets great separation. He's fast. A.J. Brown's a beast. You can toss it up to him. So I think their offense is still going to be hot. Jalen Hurts, you got a running back playing quarterback, so you're always going to be efficient there. So I think Philadelphia wins that division.
The team that loses in the Super Bowl struggles the next year almost every year.
It's the Madden curse.
It's the Madden
curse. It is.
Right.
The Madden curse.
Right.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, watch out.
Yeah.
So why does Cleveland continuously struggle?
Because they're cursed. That's completely
Hayden Hillis.
Peyton Hillis, the Madden curse. It's still haunting them.
2010.
All right, so let's tackle the AFC real quick. Looking at the AFC East, some people call it the best division in the AFC. I don't call it that, but for those of you who do, what do you guys think about the AFC East?
I'll go Bills here.
I'm going Bills as well. Let's cut the shit. I'm going Bills as well.
Yeah, best quarterback. I'm going Bills. I don't think there's much to say about that.
I think the Jets will be. I think they'll be second, and once again, I think they will get a playoff spot. But I think Buffalo wins that division.
I think Miami will be interesting for 5 weeks until
Tua's
head is
it's scrambled egg brain.
Yeah, I've got the Jets winning that division.
Ooh.
I like it. I mean, they have a great defense.
I think they're coming out week 1. There's a group I'm in that we've got a joke going on about the over under. I'm the only one that took the over 9.5 wins. I thought 9.5 was a slap in the face to that roster. I think Garrett Wilson was Garrett Wilson with nobody throwing the ball to him. Now he's got
right.
Aaron Rodgers now got a younger Devontae Adams at his disposal. Well, again, this is kind of like Giants Cowboys for me, and in a steer above those two teams playing thing. Jets Bills week 1 is like that's a tough.
Gonna learn a lot. Yeah.
Jets, if they can pull that, because it's at home for Jets, so Jets win at home week 1. Watch out in that division. I think that'll be telling. Their offensive line.
I don't hate it.
Question mark. Here's my favorite thing about criticizing offensive lines. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
We'll have to get my buddy Jake on the show to explain what they do.
And say, fuck it, they've got a great offensive line.
Yes, even though everyone's talking about how bad it is.
I keep hearing that, and I'm like, do they still have Mekhi Becton?
Yeah, you know what?
Do they? Does he play?
I don't know. He wasn't the guy who was smoking the gravity or the fucking face mask bong, right?
No,
who was that?
Laramie Tunzel.
Laramie Tunzel, the GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT.
Absolute GOAT. Blindside.
I'll go Jets just for the story there. I think that will be obnoxiously annoying to watch happen.
That would be annoying, wouldn't it?
It would be
annoying.
Would be
kind of nails on chalkboard division winner.
So we'll save the best. Yeah, no, I think you make a compelling point. The Jets, I think Aaron Rodgers aside, they have a great defense that I think alone could carry them to 5 or so wins just off playing strong defense. So if their offense is any good at all, I think that you're probably in a good position to see the over hit on 9.5. But they have to play Buffalo twice. I think they beat up on New England, and I think they beat Miami pretty easily. So really, their biggest problem is facing Buffalo twice.
That division might have 3 playoff teams.
Yeah, Miami's interesting.
Miami's good. But
I'll explain later why that division, it's impossible for them to have 3 playoff teams. So we'll skip over the best division in football, and we'll go to the AFC South. We got that. I mean, this division. Let's go real quick because nobody cares. Jacksonville.
Jaguars.
Yeah. Gotta be Jacksonville.
Yeah. For obvious reasons.
Dougie, baby.
I mean, if you're watching at home, if you don't know who's in the division, look it up, and then you'll go, oh, yeah, obviously Jacksonville's going to win that.
Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on to the West, to actual football. So this is an interesting division. It's one of those where some teams have made some moves, and the Kansas City Chiefs will win.
Yeah, this is also so stupid. Yeah. Because this basically means nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
they win the division.
Why
have the division?
Teams did make some moves.
Right.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
And he's
Chiefs
right,
by
though.
100. Yeah, Chiefs by
I mean,
100.
they did. Oh man, some of those teams made some moves.
True.
No.
That being
What
said,
about-
Chiefs.
what
by
about-
The biggest move in that division is Sean Payton to the Broncos. That's how
Exactly.
badly
That-
the
What if
Chiefs are
Sean
going to win that
Payton-
division.
True.
He's ripping bongs before every game. There's a
Oh,
good
I
chance
didn't
that-
consider
That's
that.
true.
He is in Denver.
Yeah.
There is a
He
good
needs
chance.
the only
Wow.
way the only way he gets Russ to take a step up this year is if Russ hits that bong.
He's got to get high. Yeah.
He needs
He's
to
got to get high. He's got to
Yeah.
relax a little bit and just stop. Stop with the shit. Get high once and be like, and then show him his own TikTok.
Oh, he would.
And he'll
Yeah,
be
he would be
like,
like, "What the fuck?
oh my
I did
God."
that?"
Like, just make him question himself one time high.
Yeah.
And that dude will get right back to Russell Wilson levels, but he'll never do it.
Show him his Subway commercial while he's
Yeah.
tweaking off an edible.
You gotta get him inside his head a bit. I mean,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, he would literally be on suicide watch if he was on an edible and watched his own Subway commercial.
oh, I'd be like, oh no.
Okay, so we can moving on. We saved the best for last. The AFC North. I mean, the juggernauts of the AFC. I said earlier, I don't know if anybody caught, you guys caught about people listening. I think Cincinnati wins the division. I think Baltimore's competitive. Cleveland has upside, but I don't trust them. They're never a team that you can like confidently in preseason put your stock in. So it would be foolish of me to give them more credit than they've earned at this point. Deshaun's the real question mark. They have a good roster aside from that. Give Nick Chubb the ball 65 times a game, and I would bump them up to third in the division. But I'm going Bengals 1, Steelers 2, Ravens 3, Cleveland in the basement.
I'll go. It's a 2-horse race between the Bengals and the Browns. The Steelers will go 500. Whatever.
They'll go over 500.
Oh yeah, you can't go 500.
It's impossible.
No, they can tie.
Yeah.
You can tie.
Oh,
Eight and one?
no.
Eight
We
and one.
we can't. I don't know about you guys. We can't.
We tied 3 years ago, Jesse.
No, I know, but like we can't. You know what I'm saying? Because like if it's go 500, but we have to tie, then obviously we'll go above 500.
Okay.
No,
We have-
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Tomlin, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Right,
exactly.
Yeah.
So wait, it's a two horse race. Which horse comes out on top?
Man, there's something about the Bengals this year that I don't love. I don't know what it is. Something tells me I don't think that they're well coached.
The fact that they're in Cincinnati is something that I don't love.
That doesn't help.
Yeah.
They're always up there and one of the most penalized teams in the league. I think they go for it too much on fourth down. I don't trust the coach at all. And I don't trust the health of the quarterback. Now, would I rather have him than my quarterback? Absolutely. Would I rather have?
I wouldn't.
Would I rather have
I'm
Kyle
lying.
McCord? Would I rather have Kyle McCord playing in the
Yeah.
NFL on Sunday for the
Yeah.
Browns than my quarterback? Absolutely.
Yes.
So that makes it tough. Would I rather have Matt Johnson tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's fair. Matt Schaub even.
But our system is so good now that it's not going to matter. It's going to be like the Niners, plug and play.
What?
Plug and play the quarterback. It doesn't matter. That's how good our system is.
When did the system get to that?
Oh, it's always been that good.
Oh shit!
I
I haven't been. I must not have been paying attention.
You see it. All they've been doing is plugging quarterbacks.
True.
It's literally the definition of plug and play.
You guys are the ultimate plug and play. Shanahan took that from you.
That's right.
Okay. All right. We got a Cincinnati. We got a Cleveland. The only person here that can be partially unbiased. I don't know if I fully trust that Chris is unbiased when it comes to this. We'll see how this pick turns out.
Yeah, I think this is the most competitive division outside of the Steelers. I don't trust Kenny Pickett yet, and I was the same.
Okay.
I did it with myself. I just don't trust him. I think I really think honestly. Oh man, I'll go. I don't want to do it because I really wanted to like have fun with this take and go Steelers Browns.
Oh, you're having fun with the take. You're having fun with it.
No, I don't trust the Steelers. I don't trust the Browns. Like just both of your teams make me fucking terrified. Like if I had to put money on either of them,
You wouldn't.
I'd be terrified. My wife might divorce me. Like, she'd be like, that's financial insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't even want to pick. I honestly, this is really tough. I would probably go. I'll go Bengals. That's such a cop out. I'll go Bengals. I'll go Bengals Ravens.
Cocksucker.
Browns Steelers.
What a cocksucker. I knew it was coming.
But honestly, though, the problem with that, like Jesse said, Steelers are above 500 in that scenario, just like last year. I don't know if it's like Steelers are an awful team. How am I gonna? I don't know if the Browns are an awful team, but like Bengals are just like, what am I gonna do?
Now it will be interesting.
I'm objectively looking at those rosters. Like if Joe Burrow's healthy with those guys, Higgins and Tyler Boyd, take Jamar Chase off the Bengals. If the Giants 1-2 was Higgins Boyd, I'd argue that they had one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL. They also have Jamar Chase, obviously, so it's like that's terrifying. Joe Mixon back on a team-friendly deal, knows no learning curve there. They got rid of P. Ryan. Interesting.
I do like Samaje Perine.
I do too.
Ravens, honestly, to me, it's like, can the Ravens be carried far enough by Lamar? I don't know, because
OBJ.
J.K. Dobbins.
True.
What?
You saw what he did in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
I think OBJ is back. Gonna be back.
He never left.
Gonna be unlocked again, dude.
He never left.
I'm serious. I don't know if I've ever been more confused by a player than Odell Beckham, because when he left the Giants, and it was on obviously drama bullshit terms, everyone was this and that. That dude was the best wide receiver I'd ever seen. And then Justin Jefferson came in the league, but I was like, that dude is doing shit. First 2 years, the record that Jefferson broke for most yards was OBJ. It's like in the first years of receiver, and I'm like, that dude was crazy. And then like all of a sudden, it's just like, it's so hard for me to sit here and be like, yeah, he just sucks. I know he's old now, relatively, but it's like, it's so hard for me to believe that he just really did suck and that Eli Manning was that good. Like
Yeah.
I
mean,
what?
elite live Manning.
But like, was he that good? Like, was he good enough to like make a wide receiver look like the best I've ever seen? And
Victor Cruz
in the first, best I've ever seen is way too much. You know what I mean? Like in those first two bursting on the years, it was like, so. But can Lamar get him the ball? Probably not.
When you have
J.K. Dobbins, can J.K. Dobbins stay healthy? Probably not.
Lamar's
Gus Edwards stay healthy?
had an elite receiving core. But look what he does to receivers.
Yeah.
They all leave. He cannot throw the ball to a receiver. He's lucky as Mark Andrews.
True.
I mean, they run a fucking option offense. They run a fucking pistol.
Yeah.
So that's proven to not be sustainable. I mean,
They
and they are maybe the only team that is bitten by the injury bug more than the Browns. Their entire defense was out last year.
Yeah.
One
For a team that's
out at some point last year.
For them being so talented on paper, I feel like they should scare me more than they do. But there's something about when we match up with them. Yeah. I'm not afraid. Like, I know that we can go in there and win that game pretty easily, and I think that we sweep them this year. I really do. I don't even say that as a bit. I don't think that we're like the best team in the AFC by any means. I think that our defense is incredibly solid. I think that our pass rush is going to be absolutely elite this year. You got TJ Watt if he stays healthy. Then you have Highsmith and Nick Herbig, the rookie. I really like what I'm seeing from the rush. So I think that we're able to slow them down considerably. Like you said, they run a pistol. It's not going to work on us. If you want to beat Pittsburgh, you're going to have to air it out. A lot of teams are going to be able to do that against us. If they can, then credit to them, but I don't think they can.
Here's something I'll say, which I think I was a little harsh coming out of the gate on Pittsburgh, because I was like, I trust everybody but them. Here's a couple things. Their over under is set at 8.5. So they're the betting underdog.
Yes.
Or they have the worst odds to win the division.
Correct.
However, their over under is 8.5, which is going up one game above 500, and it's juiced to the minus 150. So they're favored to go over 500
and be last. Yeah.
And their odds to make the playoffs are only plus 120. So like they're saying, it's 50-50 shot, but they're plus 500 to win the division. It's like, okay, so that division's on paper and the books are like, that's an even division.
It is a stacked division.
If they don't win the division, they could come second, playoff spot. You know what I mean? Like, that division is going to be
it'll be
fun to watch.
I
love it because I'm absorbed.
They won't say that anymore.
Say again.
When the Browns go 3-14, they won't be saying
that. Well, it'll be interesting to revisit this conversation after week 1. That's why I like doing a season preview, because we can get all this out there, and then it's like, what changes after just 1 week? I'm extremely curious to see. Like, if we go out there and just get whomped by the 49ers, will I come in here and talk shit about Kenny Pickett? Yeah.
Can they get whomped by the 49ers? Like, I just, like, that's, again, like...
No, we won't.
Like,
We're going to fucking win.
The Ravens, it's like, it's the thing about, like, Steelers versus Ravens. It's like one of those things, it's like, the Steelers don't get whomped often. Like,
no.
they just, like, they maybe not the best team, but, like, that, Tomlin doesn't let that shit happen often. And I don't know. I might be eyeing that line when public money starts pouring in on Sunday morning, and it goes a little bit to the -3 side because everyone starts playing the favorites. And I'm gonna be looking if it gets to 3.5.
I do have a future on the Steelers to make the playoffs. I want to make that clear. I do have a future on us to make the playoffs.
Do you know what you got it at? I wonder
what the odds I have. What I got on that? I don't remember offhand.
Curious.
I'll check, and then I'll bring it to the show next week because I have my notes up here.
I'm just curious because it's plus 123 now. I'm curious if if you took it.
I think I got them.
You got better odds than that.
Yeah, I think I got them at like plus 225 or plus 230.
Yeah, I was gonna say I bet that's probably better, and it's moving down. So
it was worth it for me, and like I said, I fully believe that we sneak in a wild card spot. So we had a nice preview to the season here. Let's wrap it up with this bit we have. So I'm going to give you 3 descriptions. So it's going to be like a Tinder bio. This is the quarterback Tinder game we're going to play here. And we're going to have to workshop this live on the show as to how we want to do this moving forward. I don't know if like the best thing to do is for you guys to guess who the quarterback may be, or if you get the 3 of them and then you pick which one you want. You might have to tell me if like the things that I wrote are maybe too obvious that gives the quarterbacks away, and then we kind of have to change how we go about it.
I think we should pick. You give us the 3, we pick. That's who we have, and then it's like kind of reveal who the other 2 were or whatever, or we can even guess. But I think we should pick. And like
I may have been a little too obvious with my jokes in here.
That's all right.
So let's we'll start here. We have a 27 male. He's currently in a toxic relationship. He's 225 pounds. He's played for 2 different NFL teams. He has a career touchdown to interception ratio of 2.7. His ability to read a defense may or may not be inhibited by his lazy eye, and he's habitually horny. So that's the first guy. That's the first bio we're seeing. So we're gonna get on the next.
Toxic, you know.
Yeah, he's in a toxic relationship right now. It's a long-term one, but it's toxic. Our next guy, he is a 25 male, winner of the Golden Arm Award. He currently has a career touchdown to interception ratio of 0.7. His penis is most likely small based on other indicators, and unlike his predecessor, he has no history of being dangerously horny.
Okay.
And then our final contestant is 28 years old. He's looking for a long-term, meaningful connection. He's played for 4 different teams, and he has a career touchdown to interception ratio of 1.6. He got a public intoxication charge and infamously grabbed his penis on national television.
Oh, he likes to party.
He does like to party. Some may say too much. So we going with the party boy? We going with the guy with the golden arm who probably has a small penis? Or are we looking at the first guy who is habitually horny and has a lazy eye, but he has a 2.7 touchdown to interception ratio?
Honestly, I'm looking to have some fun. I'm going habitually horny. Lazy eye doesn't bother me. I'm not looking at their face anyways, you know?
Good.
I just want them to win me games, and that touchdown to interception ratio.
Looks
like it's hot.
It is hot. I must say when I was making this, I go, that's a really high ratio. I wasn't expecting quite that. You know, there's a lot of positive qualities in all 3 of these guys. I think, I could admire the guy who has a small penis based on other indicators. We don't know, but I think it's safe to assume. AJ, who are we looking at here? Who are you taking on a date?
I want the party boy who grabbed his junk on TV.
Well, I'm sure you do, because you had him for a while. He's in Tampa now. He wishes he was back in Cleveland. You're going with Baker Mayfield. And Daniel Jones up here in the corner is going with Deshaun Watson, of course, with the lazy eye. And he's habitually horny. And then the guy, our last contestant was my own, Kenny Pickett.
Two Browns and
How did I get?
So I guess that leaves me with Kenny. So I'll be going on a date with Kenny, and that's fine. It's not about the size; it's about how you use it.
Right? Yeah. That's very brave of you.
What about the baker with the nice young lady outside of the back of the Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah, see, that somehow didn't make it onto my bio for him. I think he wanted to kind of leave that out.
But you don't put all your baggage in the Tinder bio. It's something you figure out on. You got to figure that out organically.
I mean, they already see that he has a public intox charge.
And I have no doubt, AJ, on that date, you'll find it out organically.
It's true. He seems like a guy who loves to share.
I'm taking him to the Cheesecake Factory, so.
Well, he would love to go. All right, well, that's it for week 1 of season 2 of Over the Line. We will be back next week, and hopefully we will all be 1-0. Is that likely? Probably not, but we shall see. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next week.